They do consider themselves above the law. And, you know, this is very interesting because it gets back into some of the investigations I've been involved with here in California, that not only are they above the law, but they will go to any evil extreme to make that point very clear, a demonstration of their power, the fact that they're above the laws that they're going to impose on us.
Yeah. Let's talk about the criminal cabal element of this because, you know, I think Sibel Edmonds, is she still gagged? She cannot talk, can she?
Yeah, she can't talk, but a lot of her testimony coincides with my testimony. And, you know, the names that she reveals are the names that go to this cabal,
right,
and to people in Texas and people, you know, I don't want to mention anything there, but I can, if we come about it a different way, I can start mentioning these names because they have been involved in other prior shenanigans in Texas.
Right.
And, you know, if you follow the people that they were looking at, Tom DeLay, Frist is under the microscope now, Dennis Hastert will be if he isn't already, and so on and so forth, so you get the drift.
Yeah, sure. Now, this, the reason I brought Sibel Edmonds up is because what she was able to reveal before they got a gag order on her was very frightening, and that was that while she was working within the FBI, and correct me along the way, Indira, if I misstep it or misstate it, but it's my understanding she was a translator at the FBI. She was in charge, or at least was involved in translation of documents coming out of the Islamic world. She discovered something, and then she was approached inside the agency by someone who claimed to be not of a government, but of an intelligence group, a worldwide or global intelligence group, and that, of course, led to some very, very interesting things. But anyway, the reason I bring her up is because, you know, when you contemplate what she said, she talks about a sophisticated intelligence group that operates worldwide, but it's not a government. Mm-hmm. You know, the only thing that I can come up with is this criminal cabal that is transnational, okay, and has the access to great sums of money, technology, and they have the ability to make things happen. What other kinds of things do we see that even to this day are affecting our nation south of the border? And that is the massive influx of drugs, child pornography, human trafficking, the whole nine yards.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that. Is that what is at the core of this Bush crime family? Based upon what we know, with what took place in the Iran-Contra affair, Governor Clinton at the time being involved with Bush 41. I mean, is this what we're dealing with?
Absolutely. These are the enabling businesses, and I've started doing some accounting on it. It's trillions of dollars. It's unimaginable sums of money. Mm-hmm. And the horrific and heartrending thing is the human trafficking and the child trafficking. I mean, we keep running into it, and this is one of the reasons why I sort of stopped with the DC financial, you know, trails, because I had enough of those. And every time I looked into the money trails, of course we run into the drugs, but I began to run into the human trafficking, including the child trafficking.
Yeah.
And with the same names, and that brought me out, that actually kept me in California. And what I've uncovered here is truly frightening. What are they doing? This is not just the kids in Pakistan or in Africa or in Eastern Europe, or these are kids in your neighborhood and mine.
Yeah. Well,
they're picking up off the streets.
Yeah. See, you know, in the years that I've been doing my program, A Closer Look, you know, we have brought to the table, direct testimony from people involved in, say, the Omaha, Nebraska scandal. We've had Noreen Gosch, the mother of Johnny Gosch. And, of course, you know, the name Jeff Gannon elicits all kinds of controversial images, particularly the allegation that Johnny Gosch may be, or Jeff Gannon may be, in fact, Johnny Gosch, Noreen's son, who was kidnapped off the street when he was 12 years old. But, you know, the thing is that we've got the Omaha, Nebraska mess that is well beyond, speculation or conspiracy theory. Paul Bonacci, the primary witness in this whole thing, won $1 million lawsuit, in his charges against Larry King, and George Bush Sr., was brought into that. It led to child prostitution and human compromise at the White House. The American people just seem to be sleeping at the switch. And now, we've got this situation that's brewing in California.
Well, interestingly enough, I was investigating the covert channel called 5 Star down in Florida with the covered-up murders of Ray Lemmy, the fact that Florida DOT was being used to launder the money through there. But he was on to a number of things in Valdosta, Georgia. He was also... and that was the location of the Finders scandal, the Mexican kid ring that went all the way up to D.C. And this was in 2001. So what people think is that, something was busted, therefore it went away. No, it wasn't. And the interesting thing is I come across Colonel Michael Aquino. Mm-hmm. Very few people know how expert he was in the neutron bomb technology and so on. And he's linked in with Iran-Contra. Mm-hmm. He was the one whom King, who was all written up, and I know you've spoken about it, from the Franklin cover-up. Well, he paid off King with a suitcase of bearer bonds and cash earmarked for covert Iran-Contra operations. Your listeners out there, please, if there's one statement that you need that was produced in court, that is the thing. That's the one statement that connects all these allegations of horrific satanic and child abuse with the cabal that's running this country right now, with the Negropontes and the George Bush. Mm-hmm. And so the Finders case, which was interesting because I'm down there in 2003, 2004, it's still going on. This brings us right back to the nexus, to the core of it, out here in Sonoma County, in Marin County, and in other counties which are located around the ubiquitously mentioned Bohemian Grove.
Right, exactly. Let's go to phones. Let's go to Leon in Florissant. Good morning, Leon. You're on the air.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Uh-huh.
Indira, I was listening to you, and you said something about, what's his name? First or Frisk or anyway. The two people that are in trouble, they're and who in Congress and Senate, who you're talking about?
Yes, Senator Frist. He's under scrutiny for his involvement in HCA, Hospital Corporation of America, and the roots of that go back to one of the biggest Medicare frauds perpetrated in this nation, because he was affiliated with other organizations that Richard Rainwater was involved with. This is all a matter of public record, by the way.
And who's the other one?
Dennis Hastert.
Yeah. No, but then you implied it was like, and maybe I read wrong, that these guys got in trouble with the cabal up there, the crime family, and so they out them with some kind of a charge someplace and get rid of them because they're becoming a problem. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm stating that these people that are involved with the cabal in enabling the lootings of monies and to empower them to be able to do this, they should be prosecuted and stopped. And the prosecutions into them are...
Isn't that what's happening? Aren't they getting prosecuted?
No. They're not getting prosecuted. I mean, their delay is getting prosecuted, but what we're claiming is that they're just basically economic foot soldiers in the bigger deal.
Yeah, so eventually they'll just get off, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And see, Leon, I think the true justice lies in the word impeachment. Justice.
This is my next step. But the other thing was, who was it? I thought that Karl Rove was in trouble, and you're saying that I didn't catch what you read about something they just announced somebody.
Well, first of all, they just indicted Libby. They did not indict Rove. They indicted Libby, and the way that this goes is that The grand jury's term runs out today. They've already renewed the term of the grand jury twice, which is it. That they can't have it no more. And the only way now that Rove could be prosecuted is if Patrick, Fitzgerald goes on his own and does it. Well, he's not there to do that. He's only there to offer the sacrificial goat, which is Libby. And Libby down the road, this will kind of fade off the radar screen. Libby will go scot-free. Rove won't see a day in jail. I don't think any of them would.
But if you and I did any of this, we would be fried for years.
Of course. But you see,
we would be called terrorists.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I've been saying for a long time. I said, these guys are criminals. They're the terrorists. I've listened to another person who visited the Grove there. I don't know where he is now, but I don't want to mention his name, but I'm sure you know he was a commentator.
Well, I'm hoping he wasn't on the boat.
Huh?
I hope he wasn't on the boat that sails down the Russian River.
No, and I think he's still around somewhere. I'm talking about Alex Jones.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
He was hollering about all of this stuff, and so he's not so far off then.
No, of course not.
Because when I try to follow these leads, Leon, I go to court documents,
right?
And so on and so forth. When you see Colonel Aquino being paid off with Iran-Contra funds, this is a matter of court evidence. We don't need to prove it anymore, and it's no longer.
How do we get back control of our judges so that they will prosecute these people and put them in jail? It seems to me like all the people they run up, just like we got this Beaupre or whatever he is. He's another but a lapdog for the same cabal bunch. He's been out there playing ball and carrying water for them, and he's trying to run for governor here, just like Owens. I said a long time ago that Owens was basically a lapdog for all this. He's proven himself to be exactly what he is. When we have nobody else to vote for, where do we get somebody to run? I mean, it's like...
Well, that's when we start relying upon good American people who have integrity and morals, because you see, what amazes me is the mentality of the American people when they know this has been laid down in their laps. Okay.
Oh, I know it.
We know that a majority of politicians are probably sexually compromised by this cabal, and this is how they are able to get the cooperation of a lot of these people.
Now, I'm convinced that most of them are involved in that as well as being paid off, and the criminality that they're involved in is beyond belief, and they should all be thrown out of office, and not one of them voted for outside of somebody like Ron Paul or somebody, you know.
Right.
Tom Tancredo that tries to have a little integrity. The rest of them are, they're just total 100% liars is what they are.
Look, when you have a country that turns a blind eye to the president, the highest office in the land, having extramarital sexual relations with people, and that people don't have a problem with that. And
I went through that whole thing. I was jumping up and down, and everybody was they were laughing at me, thinking that I was some kind of a nut because I thought that his basically sexual predatory behavior was beyond adultery, and I mean, it was like, oh, what's wrong with you? He's doing a good job. He is? For who? Not for me.
Well, they're doing it for themselves. In other words, these are transnationalists. These are people that are dangerous to our sovereignty as well as to the rest of the world. And, the insult, the slap in the face, is them rolling out the Cocaine Brothers, hearing stories about one offering the other one his bed on the airplane. You roll out the Cocaine Brothers, and bingo, what do you see? What do you see when you see George W.H.W. Bush, old man Bush? What do you see when you see him standing there with Slick Willie? I mean, what does that say?
I already figured that out.
Yeah.
It says to me they're married and always
flock together. Remember I told you about the principle of reversal the other day?
Yeah.
This is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
The terrorists are calling everybody else the terrorists.
That's
right. The thieves are calling everybody else the thieves. We're not the terrorists. We're not the problem. There's nothing wrong with us.